Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. I want to do a quick video on something that will really be, I think, helpful with you guys getting some more bites this spring. As the water warms and as we get closer to the spawn, you know, the Wacky rig and the Neko rig come into play a lot for a lot of people. It's in fact that time of the year, if you bass fish, just about everybody at some point or another is throwing a Wacky rig Senko or a Neko or Neko rig or whatever you want to call it. And I've got something else that I like to do just as another option when everyone is throwing those two rigs. And I don't even know if there's a name for this. I ain't saying I invented a new rig or anything, but I just call it the backup rig, is what I call it. Basically, you take your favorite stick bait or trick worm or any kind of the straight tail plastic, and I'll give you a shade of three I have out. I throw the Zoom, Magnum, Finesse worm a lot, Zoom trick worm, and it can be whatever your color preference is, and that'll depend on the water, you know. And this is just a Bass Pro Shops Sticko, green pumpkin with purple flake. And what I like to do is I will take a nail weight, and you rig this up just Texas rig, just like you would any other plastic. And I got one hook out here just to, like you would any other Texas rig. And I'm showing you with the Magnum Finesse worm, so I'm gonna actually flip this over and do it flat side down, which is what I like to do because of the way it falls. And you rig it up just like you would a Texas rig. I feel like my phone's doing crazy stuff this morning. So you rig it up just like you would a Texas rig, no weight, just weedless, just like this. And you take your nail weight. I use Woo tungsten nail weights. The reason I like tungsten the best is because it's smaller and easier for what I'm about to show you. And I use Woo tungsten because they're sinkers, especially these nail weights. They have these grooves and a real sharp point to them, and they have these grooves. Those grooves make it very easy to insert it into and for it to stay into the plastic. The bigger the plastic and how I want it to fall, the bigger the nail weight I use. And you just insert this nail weight into the tail end of the plastic. Sometimes, you know, it takes a little bit of work. Kind of move it around in there as you're pushing it through. Till you get it all the way in, so you can't see it. And you fish it just like that. And what you end up with is a bait. When you cast this out with that nail weight in the tail, it's always gonna, when you pull it up, it's gonna back up almost on a slack line now. You pull it up and let it fall back on a slack line, it's gonna almost fall back into the same vicinity, same area it was laying before, if you do this on a slack line. Now, as the fish become more territorial in the spring, when they get the area where they want to make their bed, and then they actually make the bed, then the eggs are there, they're spawning, then they're garden fry, and then even after that, when they're starting to hang around the brim beds and stuff. This has been something for me when everybody else is throwing, like I said, the Wacky rig, the Neko rig. This has been something else that I have caught a lot of fish with and gets me a lot of bites. And it's really inexpensive and cheap way to fish. You just need a bag of your favorite, you know, straight tail worms or trick worms. And as far as the nail weights go, other companies make lead nail weights, and I've got some of those that I keep on hand in case I happen to run out of the tungsten. And there have been days when the bite's been really good where that's happened. And in the past, I've even used wood screws or sheet metal screws. So you go down the aisle at Walmart and you buy a bag of Young Dingers or the Strike King Ocho or whatever Walmart may sell. And you just get you some screws and screw it right into the end of this thing and just rig it up, go to the pond, go to the lake, go to the river, go wherever. And I'm telling you, when you pull this thing up and it begins to go back down, it's going right back in that fish's face. If he's behind it and he's swimming down or tailing this thing at all, and you pull this up and it goes right back at him, they don't like that. If you're working anytime, you can flip this around brush, boat docks, it works really good around boat docks. You can take this thing and you skip it under a dock, pull it, let it fall back. Pull it, let it fall back. There's a fish under there and they got the slight bit of interest. They ain't gonna like it when they come after it and this thing goes right back in their face. Like I said, you can do it with, I use a Magnum finesse worm. You get a much smaller nail weight, and you can do the same thing with a trick worm. And again, it's a little bit of work getting these into the, but that's the good thing about the tungsten. The Woo tungsten ones, they slide in pretty easy. And I'm sorry about this camera. Stand up. But you just put it in the tail and the same thing with this trick worm. It's the same principle. Makes it a little bit easier to cast too because you got this little bit of weight in the tail of it. But when this thing goes into the cover and you pull it up across there, say that's a branch, and you let it go back on a slack line, it's gonna fall right back, and then it comes back on this side of it and it's gonna fall right back. The weight in the tail is what does the trick with this. And like I said, and if you're bed fishing, if you put a little bit extra weight on the tail and you want to keep this thing around the bed, a lot easier to do with a little bit more weight in the tail of it. Now, like I said, I don't know what this, I just call it the backup rig is what I call it, because the bait pretty much backs up into the face. When you pull it up, it falls right back down and it'll get you bites. And I'm always looking for something. I can't even remember what made me try this, but it was several years ago. And I just started getting bit with it. And I do it a lot in the spring, all the way through the time the bluegill is spawning and bass are hanging around the bluegill. You can use any color trick worm. I do it with the methylate that everybody likes to throw. And when that bite comes on with the trick worm, where everybody's throwing the trick worm, you can take this thing, and sometimes it's like they'll come up and they don't want to commit coming up to the surface. But you can take this thing with this nail weight on it and twitch it, and it sinks back just a little, and they go from not wanting to commit to eating it. And the fact that it just hovers there in their face that extra second, I think that's got everything in the world to do with it. So like I said, this is just a quick video. I wanted to show you guys something I do to help me get more bites, especially with the times that we're approaching now and the time of the year that's coming up. Hope everybody's been able to get out on the water. Hope everybody has a good week. I want to thank everybody for liking and watching and subscribing to my videos. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.